This is the example problem on slide 80 of our Chapter 12 PowerPoint. And this is another example of solution stoichiometry. Unlike the previous example, here we're going to be starting with volume of substance, we'll say A, and using stoichiometry to go into volume of substance B. So this is a technically 3-step calculation with the additional step of doing a unit conversion. So the problem reads, how many milliliters of a 0.25 molar barium chloride solution are needed to react with 0.0325 liters of a 0.16 molar sodium sulfate solution? And they've given us a balanced equation for this. So my strategy for this, if you're following along on the slides, apologize for that, that was my dog. So strategy for solving this is we're going to start with liters of our sodium sulfate solution and use its molarity to convert it into moles. And then we're going to use the mole-to-mole ratio from our reaction that we're going to write and get into moles of barium chloride. Then we'll use its molarity to figure out the liters of barium chloride solution. And then finally we'll convert liters into milliliters. So ultimately what I'm looking for is the milliliters of barium chloride solution. And I'm going to start number 1 with my volume of sodium sulfate. So 0.0325 liters of sodium sulfate. Now I need to convert liters into moles. So next step is I'm going to use my molarity to do that. Remember, molarity can be broken up into moles over liters. So when I say 0.61 molar sodium sulfate, it's like saying there's 0.16 moles over 1 liter. And so if I multiply by the molarity of sodium sulfate, 0.160 mole on top, 1 liter on bottom of my sodium sulfate. Hold on, I got a cough. Sorry about that. Of sodium sulfate. That means liters of solution are going to cancel, and I'm left in moles of sodium sulfate. Now is where I'm going to use my mole ratio. So we're concerned with sodium sulfate and barium chloride. So if I look at my reaction, there's sodium sulfate, barium chloride. They both have no numbers in front of them, meaning it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So the thing that we're trying to cancel goes on the bottom. 1 mole of sodium sulfate reacts with 1 mole of barium chloride. That cancels out moles of sodium sulfate. Now I'm in moles of barium chloride. Last thing that I'm going to need before I do a unit conversion is to look at my molarity of barium chloride. Now remember, molarity is like saying I have 0.25 moles per 1 liter. So to get rid of moles of barium chloride, I'm going to divide by the molarity. So it's 0.250 moles barium chloride per 1 liter of that barium chloride solution. So that cancels out moles of barium chloride. And technically I can tack this step on to the very end. I want to be in milliliters because that's what the question is asking for. We see milliliters, milliliters. So I'm going to use the fact that 1 liter contains 1,000 milliliters. That's going to cancel out liters. I'm going to be left in milliliters, and that's going to be my final answer. So if I multiply all these guys together, 0.0325 times 0.160 times 1,000, and divide those by 0.25, I get a final answer of, hold on one second, equals 20.8 milliliters of barium chloride solution. And that is your final answer.